Welcome hardcore gamers to one of the most famous channels of the French retro gaming underground scene called Gan Geek Style. I am your host today, named Gemu Oni, and I'm pleased to introduce you to the work of GGS Studio with their future Genesis game, The Cursed Knight. Please be advised I'll have the great honor to provide you with more details concerning this new production, straight up from the indie gaming world. In my humble gamer's opinion, I believe that The Cursed Knight has nothing to be ashamed of if you compare it with the actual ongoing Genesis homebrews projects such as Irena, Astoborg, Phantom Gear, ZPF and such. I respectfully suggest you to make your own opinion by downloading the demo, for which you'll find a link in the description below. The demo being okay to be run on any Genesis linker or emulator. About the studio, GGS are a bunch of people who, like most of us, dedicated their lives to video games and are now stepping up with this ambitious project. The team is composed of Ivan Kaiser, your regular host on this channel, who is in charge of pixel art, animation and game design. Chris Wise for the music and level design, Gigi48 for SFX and sound design, Mr. Data also participating to the music creation, as well as Jungrock for coding. A word about the story of the game: the town's name is an homage to Stéphane d'Allongeville, who has been so important for the scene with his creations such as SGDK or the Gens emulator. Maybe you don't know about it yet, but The Cursed Knight is actually the second project of the studio, as the Cursed Cube being the first one. The later game isn't released yet, as well, as another team with common members is currently working on it. The Cursed Cube and The Cursed Knight are two different games in style, but both evolve in the same world, revolving around the cube, an almighty, godlike entity being able to realize the most impossible and illogical things. So, as I said, the two games share the same lore, and that implies many intrications in them. Another one being the Cursed Knight hero, Calder, making appearances in both productions. I have great hopes for the story, because this is what makes the difference between a forgettable game and one which will live in your memories forever. Concerning the Cursed Cube, the game is by design very complicated to code because of heavy addition, such as gravity force paired with characters' usage of jetpacks, necessary for some enemies to track you down wherever you go in sophisticated maze-like levels. Despite what I am showing you of the game right now, this gameplay is now irrelevant, as the team and its programmer Songo have decided to start back from scratch in order to implement way more new features and graphical upgrades requested by the public through previous beta testing. On the Cursed Knight side, the game design looks more traditional, as it is switching between shoot-'em-up phases and platformer ones. However, the level design is way more elaborate. Let me tell you why you should follow up on the Cursed Knight development and be excited by its release. First of all, the studio doesn't ask for any money, so the only thing you have to care about is whether or not the game is going to be good. Secondly, you can witness the progress of the game by testing the demos. Thirdly, the team will always take on challenges and try to surpass itself by adding some exciting gameplay mechanisms. Let's review some of them now. When you take a look at the game, it will remind you a bit of Rockman. However, GGS Studio technical inspirations have been more focused on games like the Thunder Force series or the Adventures of Batman and Robin. Actually, the devs are trying to implement 3D effects comparable to the Toy Story ones, but are facing difficulties because of a VRAM issue. A close combat strike will be added to the hero Calder in order to give more depth to the game panel of actions. You will, as well, be able to run on plane surfaces in the shmup phases, and not only on the ground, as this is actually the case in the demo. Please kindly understand that the game is still under development and is not by any means finished. A lot of new features remain to be added. Despite the very promising actual rendering of the game, the team still faces a long challenge. Still working on the first stage, but also now taking care of stage 2 and its platformer segment, for which enemies are yet to be implemented. For the shoot-'em-up part of the stage, a new challenge for the team is to introduce a vertical scrolling in the mix, which will require an heavy optimization optimization of the game engine. That shows how much GGS Studio is willing to think out of the box in order to deliver more fun. But that is not all, folks. Those guys are actually working on another crazy feature, adding to the extreme gameplay diversity of the game. You will be able in certain stages to invert gravity, as you were able to do it in the Nintendo NES game Metal Storm, formerly published by Irem. This will also remind you of a Capcom jewel named Strider. I believe you have already guessed it, you won't be able to put your hands on the game before a while. It should take at least 1 more year and a half for the game to be completed. But do not worry, my friend. By all means, the game should be released before Papriam. Aside from that, Studio GGS also had consideration for greedy game collectors, as we are, and is thinking about producing physical copies. The GGS guys could request for Broke Studios assistance for the PCB design if ever they are not able to handle it by themselves. Guys, don't forget, the demo of the Cursed Knight is now available by clicking on a link in the description below for anyone who would like to get a taste of the game. Oh, by the way, here is the last thought, a personal request for you to never forget to support your indie studios. I am not only talking about GGS here, but about all the dudes losing blood and sweat in order to produce original titles on our good old gaming machines. Arigato gozaimasu for having granted us with your attention concerning this Gun Geek style video. Honor and strength for all of you. Salabayo.